Alright, we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we're going to be checking out some railroad locations, hopefully catching a little bit of action. We're out on the afternoon here. This is July 17th at about 12, just before 1 p.m. We'll probably be out for a couple hours exploring. Alright, our first stop's going to be the Chicago Northwestern Depot in Green Bay off of Dousman and Broadway, just west of the Fox River. Now, would you say you staggered onto the train more or off the train more when you used to come to town?
I don't think so. Although we did go in the club car.
Alright. Take a quick look. Alright, this is the Chicago Northwestern Green Bay Depot. I believe it was built in 1892, but we'll either find out or I have to fill it in. As you can see, it's a single track through here now, where it used to be multi-tracked in this area. Chicago Northwestern Depot in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is the front end. We'll take a look at the other end when we go over to the other side. This is the back side. Alright, this is the back side. This shows Railway Express, and there's the, I want to say there was something referencing Chicago Northwestern up on the clock tower, but I'd have to look at some old pictures. But this is looking southeast at the depot from the back side. Now, one time there were some tracks on this side too that have long been removed. But this is Green Bay, Wisconsin, Chicago Northwestern Depot. Alright, we're at McDonald Street in Green Bay. We're looking south towards the Green Bay Depot and Green Bay, and then further on towards Manitowoc and towards the valley, like Appleton and Oshkosh. The tracks came through here. I believe it was a double track through here. You can kind of see where the road has the area that was probably double tracked. There's another track that cuts off here and goes straight north up that way, and then over here is where the Kewanee, Green Bay, and Western used to go across the river. It goes across the river. It's now a branch of the Foxy. I believe it goes out to Luxembourg, but Luxembourg is not I don't think it goes really past in town here. When we crossed what is this line at University, it was exempted, so I'm thinking the trains aren't going out that far. But this is the crossing. The bridge is turned for river traffic. I understand a train comes across in the afternoon and interchanges at North Green Bay, the old Chicago Northwestern yard, or now the C&N yard. But that's the bridge across the Fox River right there. and then the tracks go up there. Broadway is the next street over there. You may not be able to see it, but there's a little brown shanty. That's like where Broadway was. At one time there was essentially a crossing here. Now it's just a couple switches. So this is the east end of the Broadway interchange, also where the Fox River comes across. Rather, the Foxy comes across the Fox River. Alright, we're at Broadway. Broadway is where the Kewanee, Green Bay, and Western and Chicago Northwestern used to cross, right in here somewhere. It's also where the east end of, I believe, the old yard is what it might be referred to as. But now you can see it's just some switches. There was a tower somewhere around here. I think it might have been on the west side of the intersection, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll have to look that up. Here are the here's the yard, the North Green Bay yard, and over here, kind of hidden in the corners, an old Kewanee, Green Bay, and Western, or Green Bay and Western yard over on the left there. So this is the approach to the yard, the south or east approach to the yard. We're at Tavel. Tavel is where the Milwaukee Road and the Chicago Northwestern used to cross. The diamond was right somewhere in this general area. I believe that's the shanty that stood there, that's been torn down and fell apart. This is looking north towards Green Bay, so it's like the Northwestern Depot in downtown Green Bay. This is looking south towards where the line to Sheboygan used to cut off, or Manitowoc and Sheboygan used to cut off. The shoreline and the valley line would split here. But this and back here is where the Milwaukee tracks yards were. Now there was tracks between like the Green Bay and Western and the Northwestern that came around here like this, and then the Milwaukee kind of cut through here and curved around a little bit. But this is Tavel and Green Bay, you know, one of the old crossings. Alright, here we are at the Chicago Northwestern Bridge across the Fox River. This was for the shoreline sub or division. Here's the Milwaukee Road right away. Now a brand new trail, as you can see. It still looks like it's under construction. And go down here and take a look at Alright, right in this area is where the famous Chicago Northwestern pictures were taken of the boat and the train going across. May have been a little further down, but this was approximately where it was at, right in here. You can see there's a swing on this bridge. I don't know if it's used. I don't know how often they come down here. But there's still a shack up there, so it still might be in limited use or occasional use. There's Georgia Pacific. That's Fort Howard. The train museum is down that way a little ways. But this is, like I said, where that Chicago Northwestern pictures, picture of a boat with a couple guys, I believe it is, on it. And one of the, it's in the 400 book, Scribbins 400 book, and it's on menus and things for the railroad put together. But there's a train going across the bridge, and there's a boat out here. It's kind of where this was taken. The angle might not be exactly, but it's going to be in the neighborhood.